What's up, y'all? It's poppin'. It's D. By the time this video goes up, it will be Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to all the lovers out there. If you're in a relationship, I wish you continued happiness with your partner, all that good stuff. Hopefully you guys have a good day. But yeah, we're about to react to this impressive vid. It's titled Monique's son, Shalon, exposes her for being a liar and an absentee mom. Oop. Monique and Sydney respond. Interesting. She came out to expose people and now her son is like, what about what's going on with you? Let's talk about that. Interesting. Anyway, let's see what we gotta say. Let's watch.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Impressive Channel. This has truly been the year of exposure. It's to the point where the people doing the exposing are getting exposed themselves, including the comedian and actress Monique. Monique just got exposed by her estranged son, and I'm going to get into it, but I first want to thank Sandler for sponsoring this video. So, video. Now, last week, Monique did...
I still got some perfumes from when I worked with them. I need to throw them away. I'm sure they're expired by now. Does perfume expire? How long does it take for perfume to expire?
Did a viral sit-down interview with Club Shay Shay, and I actually broke down this whole interview. If you get a chance, please watch it. But in my video, I did bring up her relationship with her oldest son, and D.L. Hughley actually pointed it out as well. In fact, when he was going back and forth with Monique, he brought up the fact that she's not close to her son.
How do you have sweet babies when your own babies don't?
I remember this.
Do this. Let's decide that you will treat my children like you treat yours, like you don't know them, invisible, like you have no relationship with them, like you're estranged.
Now, the reason why he said this is because Monique brought up his family when they were going through their tit for tat, and also Monique herself revealed that she's not closest to her oldest son.
Usually she talk hella slow.
Now, I thought it was interesting that Monique didn't really go into detail about the issue between her and her son. She goes into detail about her issues with everybody else, but with her son, she left out a lot of information.
I wanted the world to know me.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I had a son, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was very young when I had my first son. I didn't want him
to
have to go to a college because that was all that my parents could afford. I wanted him to be able to do whatever he wanted to do, and there was a sacrifice in that, right? Because when you're trying to go get it, you're missing this right here.
Oh, you miss a lot.
The nurturing, you miss all of that.
Yes.
So, all of that had to be dealt with. So now with this group, with my second set of children, I'm a different mother than I was then. So my whole thing is, even right now,
that sucks, though.
We want to make sure that when we leave here, our babies are good.
Right.
And their babies are good.
You said, your first son,
yes,
that you're trying to get it. But it robbed you of a lot of things of a mother-son relationship.
It did.
And so you made sure not to make the mistake this time around. What's your relationship like? Is he resentful of that?
We're still very much separated.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where you have to pray to the universe and say, let time do the healing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Right.
That's it. Let time do that healing. It may heal it in time, and it may not.
Right.
And that's something that we as parents have to say, listen,
Right.
I've done what I could do.
Please spill the tea, because parents get on my goddamn nerves, honestly, with a lot of this shit, because it's like, bro, you're the parent, so you have to be the bigger person, and you have to try your best, your damnedest, to make sure that relationship is mended. But obviously, I can't speak on what she did or didn't do. He about to spill the tea. But I don't like that approach. Like, oh, well, we'll see. Hopefully time will. And ain't no hopefully. You make it happen as the parent. That's your responsibility, especially because you were not there for him as you are with your other children. I would be resentful as fuck. Like, oh, now you want to be a mama. What the fuck? I would definitely feel that way if I was him, for sure.
I've taken accountability for it. Now it's up to you.
Right.
So that's what Monique had to say about her relationship
she said she took
with her
accountability.
oldest son. Her oldest son, by the way, is named Shalon
Speak on air,
Jr. That's what he goes by on TikTok. But his name is Shalon, and he actually responded to what Monique said.
His lips is very
and he
distracting.
basically put Monique on blast for not having any real desire to reach out to him. or build a relationship with him. And right now, Monique only has a real relationship with the 3 children she has with her husband, Sidney Hicks. So they kind of left the oldest son out of the fold. But it is clear that, you know, Monique probably was not the best mother. And some would say that she probably was a deadbeat mother because she wasn't really present like that. She was more focused on getting to the bag. And while her intentions may have been good, she really ended up neglecting her oldest son. But this is what Shalon had to say. Listen to this.
Speak on it.
Hi.
That's cute.
Shalon. I am a stand-up comedian, Monique's oldest son. I guess I felt the need to make this video to just provide some context into this false narrative about her praying to the universe. I need her to reconcile our relationship or whatever the hell it is. I wrote it all down so that way I don't go all over the place and get emotional or anything like that. So I'm gonna talk like I'm reading a script, but it's just gonna help me kind of stay together. But to address the Club Shay interview that she did where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly, in my experience, will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was letting him get his shit off. But I was about to say, that's why he's speaking on it, because she brought him up.
But anyway,
on a very viral video.
Inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. But to take it a step further, you also my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, which would also make one begin to question, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, those were things that I was willing to get over. Nobody's perfect, we're all human. But my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things. My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability for.
I fucking said this in the last video. That's why I've never fucked with Monique. I don't like her. I don't fucking like her, and I don't care who think what about it. My comments that I made, I stand by them 100%. She rubs me the wrong way. She seems like a perpetual victim, and she seems like it's, your fault, and like she didn't do shit wrong. I literally said that in that video. Like, that's just the vibe that I got from her. And look at him. He's basically validating that.
It's only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest,
the way he's saying that is odd.
Obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. by that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. There are now 2 baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology. But an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him holds no weight. There are still women to this day that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. Her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, that ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me.
Exactly.
You got to come to me for us to make this right.
Fuck out of here. You're the parent. Oh, I knew I didn't like her. And this ain't about me. Who gives a fuck what I think? Who cares? It's just my opinion. But this is what I said about parents. I feel like a lot of black parents specifically do this bullshit too. Where they feel like, oh, well, I'm the parent, and if you want to make shit right, then you come to me. And like, they feel like they're never wrong. And that shit is so tired. It's annoying as hell.
Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or whatever those feelings are supposed to be. A mother is supposed to be the first woman that a boy falls in love with. I loved my mother very much. But my mother loved things more than she loved me. And she would validate her love for me by giving me things and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be her, though. To ask God for what you want, and then he gives you what you need, though, only for you to ignore it and have the audacity to ask God for something else. And I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I didn't do that. And when we told you no, you went to the universe instead. By no means, though, do I want to give off any type of an impression that I am a victim of anything. That's not the case. As you can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm a dad. I'm healthy, I think. I drink a lot of water. I'm getting over a cold now. I still have my days just like everybody else. And, there were a few things that she did teach me along the way. I did learn how not to love from my mother. I also learned to make sure that I never lose so much of who I am that I have to validate it through another person. And though I feel as though, in hindsight, I think she did it reluctantly, I do appreciate my mother, for showing me what the top of the mountain looks like. You know what I'm saying? It did give me perspective on what hard work and dedication can get you, but I don't want something like that at the cost of giving up something that I created. I don't want it that bad. And speaking of creations, I genuinely, truly, I really did want my mother to have a relationship with my daughter. I even fought through those intrusive thoughts that were, if she wasn't interested in you, what makes you think she's going to be interested in your kid? But it took my mother no time at all to prove that those intrusive thoughts were correct. But what I can say, good for her, the universe did, bless her with 3 other sons. And God willing, I'm sure that one of them, all 3 of them are adults now. So I'm sure that one of them, God willing, if not all 3 of them, will make her the grandmother that she wants to be. I still look forward, to that moment for her. But overall, when it comes to the boys, though, I am happy that whenever they do hear me talk, sorry, my phone did something weird, but whenever they hear me talk, they don't know what it is. They can't relate to what it is that I'm saying. My experience with my mother is not their experience with our mother. So my prayer for her and them is that they continue to see her the way that they see her now. I do also want to make sure that I say thank you to my mother for giving me life. Without that moment in time, I wouldn't have had my little one. But outside of that moment, there isn't anything that either of us has to offer the other. In my opinion, it's a waste of God's time and the universe's time for praying for something that you were not willing to put forth any effort to obtain. Putting the work into becoming Monique is more important to my mother than being my mother. And I do not believe that it was never about her being there and waiting for me, but it was supposed to be about me being there and waiting for her. My mother's value had reached such a low point in my life that I no longer found it necessary to either want to wait for her or even go to her. But like I said, man, I'm super grateful that she has the opportunity to do it all over again. You know, I'm happy for her. I hope the Cat Williams tour goes well.
He has such a great attitude about this. Like, he's not bitter at all. Like, it seems like he's done a lot of healing. He's probably gone to a lot of therapy and did a lot of self-reflection. He's even taking accountability as well and saying, look, I haven't been interested in having a relationship with her as well. So, you know, he's owning up to that, but he's being very respectful in how he's speaking about this, and he's very mature about it. So I really commend him, because I would have been annoyed. Like, bitch! No, I would have done it. I'm just saying, like, you know, like, I could see other people being very frustrated and aggressive and you know, come with a different type of response, but his response is very chill. And just hearing him say this, like, it's just... It's like I said, I'm very familiar with this type of attitude. With I mean, my situation wasn't this bad, but I definitely dealt with that with both of my parents, actually. Mainly, it don't matter, but I dealt with this with both of my parents, with them like not really owning up to shit and taking accountability for shit. And it is very frustrating.
But, you know, the narrative that she prays for us to reconcile is a false narrative. It's not real, not appreciated if she stops saying stuff like that.
Damn.
Oh, this was a lot. There's a lot to unpack with this. And I did see where Monique and her husband responded to Shalon. Well, it was really more so her husband responding to him than her. And I thought that was odd, but I'm going to play the clip and give you my thoughts on it.
I hate these people.
Watch this.
There's some people that are saying, oh, you should be ashamed of your mothering skills. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is what I'll say. Let's let it play out. Because the same ones that said to me, I was crazy, I was deranged, we watched it play out. So just like with my son, we'll watch this play out. And I do want to address this though, Shalon. When you say her daddy, then that's when mommy gonna say stop playing, because you know this has been Uncle Sid your whole life. Uncle Sid knew you before you knew you. So for you to say her 3 sons, yes, you're absolutely right. He has 3 sons. He can't claim you as his son because he's always been Uncle Sid, and he knows your daddy very well.
And love that brother. And the irony of all of this is not what is said, but what's left off.
Yes.
See, you're leaving off the fact that the last time we laid eyes on you, your mother got you everything you needed for the newborn baby about 3 years ago.
What does that
You're forgetting about how I, from Georgia, am talking you through getting your car after we gave you the half the down payment for it, and you were 31 years of age, 32 years of age at that point, and I'm negotiating the deal with the dealer for you as you sit there, and you have the vehicle you're driving right now because of your mother. These are the things that you're leaving out when you're expressing.
Are you dumb, egghead? He literally made it clear that he wanted things outside of possessions and outside of money. He emphasized that. Things that are not money. He don't want money from her. That's not what it's about. He wanted her to be his mother. That's the issue he had. And she didn't have an interest in having a relationship with him. And she was not there for him during his vital teenage years. Like, what are you talking about? How is this relevant? And why are you talking? You're not the mother. You did not have him.
What you're expressing in reference to your mother, you're not expressing the relationship that you have with your father, where you spoke ill to him, not to mention spoke ill to your mother, but somehow your mother and father and I all have a loving relationship and communicate back and forth because of the love that we have for you. I forgot to have my phone to read the last text message that I gave to you, Shalon, where I told you about the understanding of how you are speaking to a woman and how you as a man and how you perceive things may be completely different from how your wife, how your mother, how your sister, how your daughter will look at things. And when you learn how to communicate a little bit better, then things will happen a little bit better. You young man, because of the challenges that
Monique,
this young brother has had with
why
mental
is
illness.
he?
So
I'm sorry to be chuckling. When I hear you, Shalon, talk about money and stuff, it's like, baby, as I told you when you were younger, I told you as a man, don't let nobody introduce you to me. You know who your mama is.
And when folks speak in reference to calling your seed, sometimes, especially when your seed decided to call things off with you because you didn't move for a 34-year-old, 32-year-old man in the time that he wanted to do, because you as a mother, you as an entertainer, you as an actress, you as a grandmother, you as a wife, allotted the time to see him, but he pushed you away. But then when it's time for him and it doesn't work for you, now it's a problem. Listen, it comes a point in time where when you become a man, when you become a woman, it is your obligation to do for you. To do for you. At 31, brother, 32, I'm sitting there on a conversation at the behest of your mother. Why?
Did they watch
for
the
you,
same video?
because I love my nephew, and we still love you, Shalon. That's why your mother and your father interact with one another, to let them be aware of what's happening with you. So if you think you're not loved, that's because you're not paying attention. And there are other dynamics that fall into play in which we completely understand.
She admitted that she wasn't there for him. What are we talking about? She admitted it. He's clearly hurting. So whatever you're talking about, he clearly was in pain because he felt like she was not there. And even now, he feels like she doesn't have an interest in wanting to be his mother. Why are y'all talking about money and you supposed to take care of yourself? And he's not talking about that. None of that matters. None of that is relevant to any of the points he made. What are we talking about?
And for you too, we're going to keep the light on for you, but I find it extremely ironic that the last time you saw me, you wanted to be able to call me dad. And I couldn't allow you to call me dad because there's only one dad in your life. And he's a friend of ours.
That's a weird thing to
He's a friend of ours.
So this was their response to Monique's
I don't
son,
like this
Shalon.
thing.
And honestly, I wish Monique was the one who addressed this. I think she sat back and allowed Sydney to address it because it gives her a way to wiggle out of accountability. Yeah. She has her husband defending her and calling out Shalon for being ungrateful for the stuff that Monique has done for him. They mentioned that Monique bought him.
And he even said that. He was like,
bought her some things, and Sydney helped get him a car. They mentioned the things that they've done for him financially, but it takes more than money and gifts to improve a relationship.
Hello?
Quality time. And unfortunately, Monique did not give Shalon that quality time that he needed when he was younger.
And if you're just throwing money at him or throwing help at him, but you're not actually invested in the relationship or trying to have that mother-son dynamic, then he's still unsatisfied. And he even said that. He said that, she would throw money at him and then call him ungrateful when it didn't have the desired effect. Because I guess she thinks that replaces having an actual relationship with him. And it doesn't. Hello? It doesn't replace that. So when he's acting out, I don't know what he's doing exactly. Y'all didn't really say. But whatever's occurring, he clearly wants a relationship with his mom. That's the matter at hand. And look at what y'all are focusing on. So that tells me everything I need to know. Like, y'all are focusing on the wrong shit.
Why they have the issues they have now. Her son was not a priority, and he felt neglected, and that hurt is still festering to this day. To be honest, Monique was too busy chasing.
That is up to you to nurture that relationship. And she's like, or the nigga, she didn't say shit. But he like, you pushed us away. That's up to her to pull him closer because she was not there for him when he needed her, when he was growing up. So if he is like kind of pushing you away or spazzing out or whatever the fuck, that is where you step up and be like, no, I'm here for you. I'm here now. Grab him and hug him. He'll probably cry in your arms and some shit. I watch too many movies. See, like you are the goddamn mother. Hello. So that is up to you to mend that relationship because you fucked up. You fucked up when he was growing up. You were not there for him. And how it sounds, he's making it seem like you're still not interested in a relationship with him. And I don't see why he would lie about this. That's a very weird thing to lie about. So Girl, go to hell.
Money. She was too busy chasing the love from the world and the love from her husband
That's
to
what I
really
said.
focus on cultivating a relationship between her and her son. And I'm not going to say that Monique is all to blame.
Because
I don't
people
know
love
all
to
that
cape
son
for
has
her,
done
and
to
I
her.
don't.
They did mention that he doesn't really speak to her in a respectful manner, and that could be due to his own hurt and bitterness towards her. They also brought up the fact that he had some issues with his mental health, which I thought was unnecessary to speak on, but...
And then your bald head ass talking about, oh, you wanted to call me daddy when you last saw me and I wouldn't let you. Like, well, how is that relevant to the conversation? That's such a shitty thing to even share. That's so fucked up. Because who knows, he might have a strained relationship with his dad as well. So maybe he wanted that father figure in you, and for you to be like, no, you already got a daddy. That's already rejection. And then you're going to share that rejection publicly? Like, fuck out of here. These people
They were just
are
trying
gross.
to show that, okay,
I don't
my
care
son
what
has
nobody
some
say. I
issues
don't
on
like
his
either
end.
one of them.
But it still doesn't change the fact that
Trifling.
Monique wasn't there for him when he needed her. She neglected him. And this is why they're in the situation they're in now. And Monique needs to step out of this victim role for once. I know
Hello?
about how other people have treated her and dogged her out.
Hello?
But now she's being called to the table, and her son is crying out for help, and he's letting her know how she made him feel. I think reconciliation.
And she ain't got nothing to say. You letting your bald head ass husband talk and say everything when it has nothing to do with him. Even if he was around during, when he was growing up, it don't matter. You're the mother. This is your son. Bro, this is irritating.
It's absolutely necessary, and I do hope that Monique can let go of her pride and try to make things right. She doesn't need to gaslight him or guilt trip him or brush over things that affected him or use her husband as her mouthpiece. She needs to acknowledge this and take accountability, and hopefully her son lets go of his grudge and gives her the opportunity to make it right, because he said he too has no interest in reaching out, and I think that's a problem. Reconciliation goes both ways.
How? If she don't have no interest, what the fuck he supposed to do? If she's not putting in the effort, what is he supposed to do? So he's just like, he probably reached a point where he's like, fuck it. That's a defense mechanism. He's like, fuck it. If she's not interested in having a relationship with me, I ain't interested in having a relationship with her either. Obviously, that's what's taking place. Hello, that's clear as day. So he's not the problem in the situation. She's the problem. She needs to rectify their fucking relationship.
So
Bro,
if
I hate
it's
people.
hard for her to make amends with him, then he's a part of the problem as well. But anyway, those are my thoughts.
This was triggering because these are things that I've witnessed many times. And not even necessarily in my own relationships with my parents. It's never been this bad. But like I said, I can relate heavily to the lack of accountability. And I feel like it's very common with Black parents. But I've witnessed this in my family. Like I've seen my cousins and my aunts and them go through situations and seeing them hurt and upset and crying because they were not, given that love. And I've seen their parents, my aunts and uncles, be like, well, I mean, you grown now, and I mean, if you ain't gonna make the effort, then I ain't gonna eat. Like, they just got pride, and that shit is so fucking whack. Like, bro, this is your child. This is your kid. No matter how old they are, if they in their 30s, 40s, it don't fucking matter. This is your child, and if you fucked up, that is up to you to fix that relationship because you are the parent. You had them. That was your choice to bring them in this goddamn world. And if you are admitting that you were at fault when they were a kid, that is up to you to make things right today. Like, that's up to you to make things right. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a pretty situation, but you have to put forth that effort. And if you're just going to be like, well, all right, I mean, if you ain't going to, put in effort, then I ain't going to put in much effort either. This is your kid. Like, bro, this is sad. But like I said, people love to cape for Monique. They love her for whatever reason. But I see right through it. I always have. And I said that too. I'm glad Impressive said that at the end. She's like, I hope she steps out of being a victim, because that's all I see. Whenever I hear her talking, it's all, she has this victim mentality about, oh, this person did me wrong, that person did me wrong. It's like, okay, girl, everybody gets done wrong. Your son got done wrong by you. Let's be clear. Let's start there. But everybody gets fucked over. But you just focus on what everybody has done to you instead of taking accountability. Like, that shit is whack. I'm just over it. I'm tired of her. I don't want to react to nothing else concerning this lady because she pisses me off, all right? Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think, though. Let me know what other videos you've been watching. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!